Alright guys, welcome to the Performance Farms channel, and today we're going to do a quick tip on multi-level barricades and how to use your tripod to aid you in becoming more stable. I get a lot of questions when people see my videos on social media, how to use a tripod that way, so I'm going to go through it both left-handed and right-handed so that you guys can see, and on top of that give you some pointers on multi-level stages on where to start. You know, do you start on the top? Do you start on the bottom? So that's pretty much what this video is going to be about, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so let's get to the video. There's multiple different ways to shoot multi-level stages. It all depends on your preference, so you need to get out there and train. What I would do is I normally put a bag. If I had a game changer, I would probably use a game changer. You can just use the bag yourself and just get on it. And the reason we use the bag is so that we can get some tilt if we have to tilt, because it's not really level, plus it gives you a little bit of soft contact, which makes it easier. So there you go. As for the tripod, right, so you can do it without that. If you can get stable enough and it's good for you guys to do that, then go ahead and do that. I like to get a little extra stable, so I like to use the tripod as rear support. And by that, you guys have probably seen this in a couple of PRS matches if you've gone to any, or you've probably seen it on social media. The number one thing you do, any tripod will work as long as it's long enough. You extend everything to max. Extend every leg as maximum as possible. Alright, that'll be your first step. Alright, now you have the legs and everything's extended out of the way. The second thing is you'll bring it up. For a left-handed shooter, your right hand will be on the foot that you're going to use. And then your dominant hand will go through the tripod in between and get on it. And then this right here, left to right, I mean up and down, is your rear support. And just work it, and then once you find where the target is, clamp down on your hand, and it's stable as can be. Alright? And the good thing about this method is, let's say if I have to get down to the next level, I do the same thing. Slide the rifle in, right, bolt back. Slide the same thing, find it, hand goes through. Alright, that's pretty stable, so we use that as your rear support. Once you find it, you clamp it down, and that's your rear support right there. For left-handed shooters, it's a little bit difficult if you're using a right-handed rifle like I am, because you have to find it, break the shot, break the contacts, and then work the bolt, come back, and do that. Alright, I'm going to do it right-handed for you guys. If you were left-handed using a left-handed bolt gun, you won't have an issue. You don't even have to move your hands. Alright, so same thing. Your left hand will be your rear support. Your right hand will go through the gun. You position yourself where you need to be. Work the bolt. Alright, and if you need to change levels, you drop levels, slide it over, same thing. So that's one way of using a tripod as rear support. Don't look at tripods as a one kind of tool that you just put your rifle on top, and that's it. You can use these multiple levels. If you had, you know, if I've seen these used on the back of school buses, basically from one chair to the other chair, and the rifle was out the window, and that was your rear support. So go out to the range, guys, and train with your tripods on how to become more stable. This is a quick way rather than setting it up. If you just had to shoot off of one thing you had time to set up, then yeah, I would say set it up to the height or whatever, but in PRS matches you don't. So you don't have the time to really set up to use your rear support. So that's why I keep this head on it where I can do that. So I can use it like that, and I could just adjust it and then tighten it down, and that's as stable as can be. All right, but that took me a long time, and that's not usually the time that you have at a match. But for law enforcement purposes, if you have the time to set up even 2 tripods, you set up 1 tripod in the front, 1 tripod as rear support, keeps you real stable, or put your rifle on the hood of a car, or whatever it may be. But use your tripods in more ways than they are intended. They're very helpful. Like I said, I've seen them used many times, and these are the things that you learn in the competition. You see people do some really creative things with gear. All right, guys, so that covers the how to use the tripod and multiple levels. Now let's go into what on a, say, multi-level, do you start at the bottom, do you start at the top? That's usually preference. For me, it's usually easier to move up than it is to move down. So let's extend, let's say this was a stage, so it had two hits or 2 shots per impact, or two engagements at the target, different levels. You normally start, tighten this down. I normally like to start at a low power setting when you first start. This is how I would normally start, like this, right? Mag in, bolt back, tripod in the hand. I would come in here, drop down. Here I would probably do this weird yoga move. All right, I would work the bolt. And I'll work my way up. That's what I would typically do on these type of stages. This lower step there is very difficult because it's pretty much at that weird level where you can't do what we call the whale prone, which is pretty much the whale prone is this weird, I mean, I guess you could do it, this weird thing where you're not all the way down here, where your back's kind of arched. That's one way of doing it, would be the whale prone. And it is pretty stable. But it's hard to get out of, right? So that step is weird because you can't really do, it's too low for sitting, too high for complete prone. So you could do what I call a whale prone. Just basically your stomach is on the floor and you're arching your back up and using this as rear support. All right, that's one way, or you can do what I did, which was kind of like the halfway type deal here. Still pretty stable, a little bit less uncomfortable, but easier to get out of. All right, guys, so that's one way for the low. I normally work my way up because it's the most difficult position. Getting up, kind of hard to start up and work your way down. I mean, the higher you are off the ground, the less stable you normally become. I mean, on this stage really doesn't matter because you're using the rear tripod as rear support, so it's just really harder to get down low. And also, do not bend your knees. Do not bend your knees to get stable. Lock out your knees, spread your legs out, and bend at the waist. Lock out your knees, that keeps everything locked out and you're just only bending at the waist. Alright guys, so that is my tip on how to do multi-level barricades. Alright, so guys, that is my tripod tip for the day. Enjoy your week and I'll see you at the range.